Hello, everybody. This is Florian from London Academy of Trading. What I would like to do today is present you with an example of cross-asset correlation using market profile and volume profile. At the moment on my chart, on my screen, what we have is three charts, one for the German DAX, one for S&P 500, and one for the dollar index. Basically, we have different tickers because I'm using a different platform for charting. So it's not a normal trading view tickers. However, the charts are the same and the information we get is the same. Now, what I would like to do is just give you a bit of context in a trade I took the other day using cross-asset correlation, using market profile and volume profile. And I'm going to start by showing you the chart for the German DAX and give you a bit of context in this move. Basically, today is Friday, the 29th of September, 2023. And last week we had a quite a busy week in regards to interest rate decision across the board, including Bank of England, Bank of Japan, the Fed, ECB. Following that macroeconomic events that we had, we can see the German DAX has been moving to the downside quite aggressively, and as we move to the downside, we can see how the value area highlighted in white on this chart has been moving lower with every session, and that has been accompanied by the point of control highlighted in red on this chart that has been moving lower as well until we got to the session of Wednesday, where we can see we had a P-shape volume profile and market profile, which normally signifies a liquidation move, which basically means that market participants that were short during this move took some profit in this session, and we can see how we can see on this volume profile and market profile the fact that we did have an attempt to break to the downside, and in the US session we managed to see price action that brought the price for the German DAX back inside value and very close to the points of control, and we also have the value areas overlapping, not by a great deal of overlapping, but nonetheless the overlap is there. But what triggered my impulse to have a look for a retracement to the higher prices in the German DAX is the fact that we started seeing this liquidation move, and then failure of price to move to the downside and close back inside value. Having said that, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring back on the chart. I'm going to bring back the S&P 500 chart, and I'm going to show you how similar the two charts were and the opportunities that both presented. And basically what we're going to do is going to go through the same motions again. I'm going to show you basically how following the same events, we can see how value area shifted to the downside every session. Points of control have shifted to the downside every session until the Wednesday session, when we have formed a P-shape volume profile slash market profile. And again, price has tried to move to the downside during the US session, and then we saw a bounce back inside value with point of control and closing price inside value. Now, because I saw this price action on both S&P and the German DAX, I moved over to my last chart that I was correlating with, which is the dollar index. And again, I'm going to bring back on the screen and give you a bit of insight in regards to price action. So what basically happened, we had an inverse correlation that worked between the dollar and indices, and we can see how price has moved very aggressively to the upside during this week. But another thing that we will have to note on the dollar index is the fact that as we moved higher, we had a bit of a divergence in between price and value area and points of control. And basically, as we moved higher, we formed this double distribution day, followed by a session where we've created a pool low. And as we moved to the upside, the final divergence between price and value has come forward in the form of the closing price on the session, which is towards the high end of the session, and point of control being left the low of the session. Now, as we move forward and price has developed and gave us new information basically on the chart, and basically that gave us a technical reason to start looking at a potential move to the downside in the dollar, and at the same time obviously a move to the upside in in the indices. Now, obviously, for me personally, taking a trade, I'm trying to combine technical analysis with fundamental analysis. It's all good having the market structure there to maybe take a trade, but personally, I like to combine technical analysis with fundamental analysis while taking a trade, if that is possible. And finally, the impulse came forward and presented itself that pushed me into a trade the other day is when we got when we excuse me we had the German CPI out of Germany. Obviously, previous release was at 6.1, and the consensus for this release was 4.6, while data release itself gave us a 4.5 CPI in Germany, which kind of helped me understand the fact that potentially my trade is something that I should be getting involved with at the moment, and potentially look for a target that is in line, obviously, with my technical analysis, and that target it's still in play. I think the target has been achieved in regards to correlation, because we can see that the dollar has moved back inside this double distribution day, and we can see how now we started balancing at the moment. It's 12 o'clock in the UK, so obviously the US session can bring us a bit more information. But at the moment, from my point of view, I think the technicalities for a short in the dollar index are not there anymore. But we can see how using market profile and volume profile can help us enter a trade. Having said that, if I'm going to bring quickly back the German DAX on my screen, looking for a potential target when considering volume profile and market profile. This platform charts for me single prints, which we can see are highlighted on my screen in the form of these two white lines. And we can see how price at the moment is just hovering below this single print. And hopefully later on in the session, when we have the US PCE coming out, we will be getting a bit more direction. I hope you found this useful. This is just an insight in regards to cross-asset correlation and how I personally have taken a trade yesterday, following Wednesday's profile on the German DAX and the correlation between the German DAX, the S&P, and the dollar index. I hope you find that I hope you found that very useful, and please follow us on social media, where we're going to post more market insights and ideas for trade. Thank you very much, guys.